weeks ago on July 9th. On July 9th, our good friend Yasser Qadhi, who has been such a gift for us, having shut down and thrown the Quran under the bus back in 2020, he did the same thing 2 weeks ago with Muhammad, the sayings of Muhammad, the life of Muhammad. That's called the Hadith and the Sirah of Muhammad. And I unpacked that yesterday, so I don't need to repeat that. But basically, he said, hello, this guy is always bowing to me. Let's bring this guy back up. Is there any way we could hold this so we could come up here and get this flying down? So here you have Yasser Qadhi, the world's leading authority in the English-speaking world, which is really the only academic world, the only, not going to do well, state. So here you have Yasser Qadhi, who has his feet in both camps, both as a Hadith scholar from Medina and also a historical critical scholar from Yale University, trying to answer this question: what are we going to do with the historicity of Muhammad? What happens when historical criticism confronts the Muhammad they're talking about, the man they're talking about? And you saw his nonverbals right away. He just put his head back and said, this is a difficult question. He said, this is something I'm wrestling with right now. And he says, they are two completely different epistemologies. One over here is the mosque, which I belong to, and when I'm there, I quote from Sahih Bukhari, I quote from Sahih Muslim, and when I come to Dallas, Texas, when I'm over here in the academy, I cannot quote from Muhammad, I cannot quote from Bukhari or Muslim. I do not quote them because they have been discredited over here. Isn't that fascinating? And then he took a position himself. And if anybody can help me over here, if anybody, he's talking to the whole Muslim world, if any of you can support Muhammad historically and write it in a book, I would be the first to buy your book. So he was taking a position. He can't do it. The world's leading authority could not support Muhammad historically. Ooh, what an admission. That's only been out 2 weeks. And there's already enormous fallback. He's getting death threats now from other Muslims. We were talking over lunch. You and I, I'm not sure what your name is, but we had a great discussion on what's going to happen to this. Where is it going to go? I believe he did that purposely. I believe he did that purposely. He is positioning himself to be the spokesman in the West for Islam. He is the new Wahhab, Muhammad Wahhab, for the 21st century. Not for the 1700s, but for the 21st century. So this is something that we're going to have to watch and look and keep on top of. So therefore, I've been asked to talk about this. What is it Yasser Qadhi does not know? What is it Yasser Qadhi does not know? What Muhammad said and did cannot be traced back to the 7th century, but what they claim is this, and this is where they're going. They say that he is the last and greatest prophet. He modeled Islam. It's a paradigm for the world. He received the Quran as the final revelation. The Quran that he received is his revelation, sent down between that 22-year period, greatest and perfectly preserved, the final revelation. It corrects the previous corrupted revelations, and Mecca was the city Muhammad was born in the last and lived in the 52 years, for the first 52 years of his life. If that is the case, then you can see everything Islam is dependent on are those three. I call them the book, the man, the place. The book, the Quran, the man, Muhammad, and the place, Mecca. It's like that stool that you see there. 3 legs. One is Muhammad, one is the Quran, and one is Mecca. Islam is dependent on those 3 legs. Now, as you might say, we have the same problem as Christians. We are also dependent on 3 legs. One book, one man, and one place. The book, the Bible, the man, Jesus Christ, and the place, Jerusalem. So, if that is the case, then we need to confront those 3 legs. We need to confront those 3 legs, investigate them. In the period that they existed, those 3 all existed in the 7th century, and in the place they existed, they all existed in the Hijaz. That's where Mecca and Medina are, that central western part of Arabia. Notice, if you confront one of those legs and destroy just one of them, the other 2 will fall. And that's what I have been doing. In fact, that's what I love doing. I don't confront Muhammad. I don't really, although I do confront the Quran, I